Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Etheria restart video. So in today's video, guys, we're going to be going over an Inferno NicoNana team that I think is a little bit easier to build than the one that I showed before, which had like 3 SSRs. This one only has 1 SSR, and it's a free unit, which is Lingluo, and then you have 3 SRs. So let's jump into the video, and we'll just walk through this. I think a lot of people know, how the NicoNana dungeon works. We're kind of ignoring that. At the Inferno stages, the boss just has so much HP where DOTs end up being your best strategy. So I think Fangus is a great option here, although I don't think he's the best option. I think Obel, fully skilled up, is very, very good, or at least skill 3 and skill 2 leveled up, should clear this with ease. The issue with this team is it takes a very long time. It takes a very long time, and it's somewhat dependent on Fangus getting enough DOTs up because we're not running somebody like Holden. Holden ends up stripping the buffs and then also puts up resistance down, which allows your Fangus to add DOTs a lot more often. This is something that's really overlooked, but if you get enough attacks off, meaning the speeds on your team are high enough, then I think it's a pretty safe run. This is probably an 80% run, I would guess. I've done at least 15 runs myself, and I think it's only failed once. So it's kind of all dependent on who gets stunned. There are times where the boss ends up stunning maybe Lingluo or Fangus like 2 or 3 times in a row, and that's why the run fails. But that's why we have Kachi the Guard in here. He's bringing that 2-turn immunity along with the 3-turn defense up, which is really huge considering the boss also puts defense down up on our team. Lingluo's here as well to also have another form of immunity, but she can cleanse the stun and the defense down that the boss puts on you anytime your team heals. Viper has just been such a great hero. I've been super impressed with him. In Aurora, he's great in NicoNana. He's great early on, too, for stuff like Fabian and Phoebe. That shell dungeon. So, yeah, I've just been really, really impressed with him. And he also is a great PvP unit, too. So, after you finally start clearing Inferno stages and you get your builds, then you can start playing PvP. If that's not your thing, then you can just grind and wait until the next type of PvE content or build up some characters for Ethernet Rally, things like that. So yeah, I'll go over the shells and stuff like that and the people that you can replace. If you have some of the like OP SSRs and you want to run them, you certainly can. That's something that you should do. But for those of you who want something that is accomplishable and to build towards, where all 3 of these SRs are certainly good in other areas of the game, so it won't be a waste of your resources, you can also use them here. So that should be nice to know. So you'll see we get real close to actually dying because the immunity and all that stuff falls off right before the boss gets like 1 big hit in. So it ends up being close to a fail. And this is kind of how I think a good chunk of the runs end up being, but it still passes. But yeah, so this is the point where if Kachi the Guard didn't put up the defense up there, Fangus definitely would have died. But we get the follow-up attack here and end it. So yeah, that's the run. I ended up not getting a triple matrix drop, but it is what it is. Okay, so here is the team. Most of these heroes you've seen me showcase in a lot of these videos, but let's start with our Lingluo. So our Lingluo here is just on Wellspring Swift Rush. Ideally, I'm going to have her in the Cure set so I can continue running Aurora Inferno. But, yeah, this is what she's working with. She doesn't have any of her skills leveled up. We just have her prowess leveled to the first skill upgrade. The modules are Wellspring and Swift Rush with just a bunch of HP and trying to find some speed along the way so she can go fast and loop back around to her stuff. Her shell is this Fortissimo. I will most likely switch her over to this shell because it's better Supernova. It's better for Aurora. But for now, this is a great shell in general. Storing up the heals and then distributing them is kind of a game changer. It's an awesome shell, by the way. So, yeah, I've got the HP percentage, speed roll, and then some effect accuracy. That's not really important for her, but there is a possibility that I switch over the Fortissimo to the Mia, who would benefit from the effect accuracy. So that is Lingluo. Fangus now, his effect accuracy is way too low, actually. This probably needs to be closer to like 185, 200. But since he's 5-star, I just need him to survive more so than anything. So those are his total stats. I've got his skill 1 fully leveled and his skill 2 fully leveled. I think this is needed just because you need that percentage chance to really get up there if you want to do this consistently. And, of course, following up 50% of the time is the key here. You need to land the dots. He's your main damage dealer. If you don't invest in him, you're kind of just SOL. So, yeah, I've got Swift Rush and Time Weave. So I've got HP and then effect accuracy. This is where ideally, if I had better substats and maybe better rolls on my shell, I'd be able to run 2 sets of effect accuracy here on the right side instead of the HP, or maybe if he was 6-star. But as of now, yeah, I just need him to survive and make do with the low effect accuracy. So a little bit of speed there, and speed here, and speed there. So if you don't have this, right, if you don't have all of the triple rolls or whatever, the only thing you need is 18 matrices total, okay? So if you get a Swift Rush, Time Weave, Shell, then you don't need the triple matrix rolls here because I'm not, double dipping on the 12 matrix bonus here. So that's that. Like I said, skill 1 and skill 2 fully leveled at this point. I'm planning on eventually using him in other areas, which is why I'm investing in him. This is his shell, so he's got some HP on this roll, 13 on this, and then this is completely useless on him. I just mix and match this between a bunch of other support heroes, and it's one of the few shells that I had leveled up. So, yeah, we're running him on Gigabyte so he can loop back around to his skill 3. Getting his skill 3 down to a 3-turn cooldown and the DOT and speed down for 100% is another thing that would just make it more consistent. But didn't want to invest too much right now or make it too unachievable for some people. So for Viper, we're running him on Black Flag. You can run him with Jackal Guard if you have it. He's also good in Gigabyte. There's a bunch of things you can really run him in, but because we don't have a speed booster and we need him to consistently strip the boss, this is what I have him on for the speed up boost. So he's got HP, speed, and the effect accuracy stacks. This is really important as well. He needs to strip the attack up and the speed up from the boss to keep your team healthy and give Fangus enough time to really get in there and DOT the boss down. So all of his skills are leveled up. One of the reasons I did this is because in the Hyperlink Charter, it's one of the missions. You have to find a SR to fully skill up. I'm planning on using Viper in PvP, and he's used in Aurora and NicoNana. He's used in a lot of areas, so I thought he was viable. But for this run, I don't think you need that. You just need his skill 3 leveled up to make sure this AoE skill 3 is on a 3-turn cooldown. That's the most important because you're dispelling twice and you're putting the attack up and speed down. Sorry, attack down and speed down on the boss. So same thing here, Swift Rush and Time Weave, just for the effect accuracy. His effect accuracy is good. This is where I need Fangus to be because he's able to run 2 sets of effect accuracy here and then the 1 HP, and he's healthy enough. We got speed basically wherever we can find it and a little bit of effect accuracy. So That's Fangus. Last but not least, Kachi the Guard. So I'm running him on Codex of Magic. I'm still iffy on this shell. Like, it's obviously, it's great. However, Kachi the Guard's skill 3 and skill 2 are quite good. So you kind of want him to use both of them because the skill 2 is so strong, where here he just prioritizes the skill 3, and when the Code of Magic actually loops back around to the Kachi, there might be times where you want him to be using his skill 2. So if I get enough Halloweens built up, I'm planning on building like 2 or 3, just like I have with Gigabyte, to give me a little bit of variance on some of these Inferno stages. That's probably what he'll go in. But he's got defense percentage here, effect accuracy here, and a really good third passive that allows him to take less damage. So he's just in Swift Rush. Ideally, he would be in Swift Rush effect accuracy, but thankfully, I got enough effect accuracy out of him to proc his skill 3 critical success to get the 2-turn immunity and the 3-turn defense up. But eventually, I think Time Weave Swift Rush would be really great, especially if I can get the 12 and 12 set, so I can loop back around to most of his skills along with Halloween, where I wouldn't have to depend on the Codex of Magic. So, in regards to replacements, right? You don't need to run Kachi the Guard because you have the immunity and the cleanse on the Lingluo. However, I think the immunity is really great. It's just whether or not you can get enough DOTs off from the Fangus. I actually believe that if you have an Obel built instead of Fangus, you should totally use him here because he is way better than Fangus in this dungeon. He has a bunch of dots. He could apply 3 dots on one skill. He is a perfect candidate, by the way, for the Codex of Magic that is on Kachi the Guard. He also stuns, so the minions on the side, like, completely puts them at bay. He also takes less damage because he is a positive affinity where Fangus is neutral, so he's much more susceptible to dying than Obel is. Obel also has the ability to remove the buffs that the boss gains from the other minions and turns them into more DOTs, where Fangus is just hitting with his skill 1. So that's where this is kind of nice. Like, all of his skills have dot. So if you have Obel and he's built up more than Fangus, totally use him more here. So instead of Kachi the Guard, you can run Lily, you can run Tsukiyomi if you have them. I really don't think that there's a replacement for Viper unless you're running Obel. So if you're running Obel and you don't want to build Viper or run Viper, you can run a Tsukiyomi or a Kachi the Guard in tandem with the Obel because he's stripping the buffs just like Viper would. The thing with Viper is he's putting attack up as well. Attack down on the boss as well. So it lets your team survive a little bit more. Even though you're removing the buffs with Obel and putting the dots, you have more sustain with Viper. So Obel can kill the boss quicker. If you have a way to maybe have even more dots, maybe another Fangus, and just go full dot route, then you might not need Viper. But because the fight is longer for my team, that's why I needed Viper. For Lingluo, I think, again, it's like most people have this character. So I think you should run her. She's perfect in this dungeon. But if you're trying to do something more speedy, you could do something like Fangus, Obel, Viper, and Kachi the Guard, and you just try and burst down the boss fast enough for you to eventually clear it. Another possibility is Valerian. The reason why I don't like Valerian in here is because you need everyone to do some type of attack, right? Because then you get the follow-up from Fangus to put more DOT. So even though her shields are nice, the fact that she's not attacking to have Fangus do a follow-up attack, I think is more detrimental than helping. Yeah, who else? I think that's probably about it that I can think of. Kraken's okay. Marvel's okay as well. Kraken has the turn meter pushback as well as the freeze for the minions, so that's something. He also has defense down. He's probably more equipped to fight this dungeon if you want to go the speed route. As I showed the other day as well, though, you can use Shiado with Revelation to get most of your damage. Both teams that I showcased in both videos, clearing NicoNana, Inferno, they're both extremely slow, so they're not ideal. But yeah, and Rosa. I think Rosa would be great in this dungeon because she puts speed down and she just does a bunch of follow-up attacks. Probably pairs great with Fangus. Anyway, guys, that's it. That's all I got for you. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're clearing NicoNana Inferno, or maybe this helps you get to NicoNana Inferno. And yeah, that's all I got for you. So catch you on the next one. See ya.